Hi there. Welcome to an experiment. My name is Tom Hadley. I'm a wildlife and nature photographer from Hampshire in the UK. And as well as taking my own photographs, I also run photo workshops where I mentor other photographers and hopefully motivate them, inspire them, and give them the tools to go off on their own photographic journeys. I am what people tend to call a semi-pro photographer, which means that I do derive some of the income that puts a roof over my head from photography. I also do other things too. It's one of the truths, I think, of our industry that not nearly as many photographers as you would think earn a full-time living from taking pictures. And that's the sort of truth that I want to try and impart in this series, is to debunk some of the mystique of photography and give you a slice of reality. So, what's the idea for this video series? The idea is just a genuine slice of life of someone who is trying to make their way in the photographic world. I think a lot of us put out there on social media and on our own websites the great things that we do, and we celebrate our successes, and that's great. I love reading about what other people are doing. It inspires me. I love to look at other people's work. I pretty much always start my day with a cup of coffee and browsing 500px or a site like that, just to see what's going on there, see what new images people are putting out there. But what people don't very often do is talk about lots of the other realities of being a photographer, trying to work on projects, trying to be commercial, trying to be successful at social media, and all the other things that are part of a photographer's life that don't involve picking up a camera and actually taking a picture. And those things can be very frustrating. Sometimes they can be very fulfilling. But it seems to me there is a bit of a gap where this stuff just doesn't get talked about. So I think if you write that stuff down in a blog, which I have tried to do once or twice in the past, you can come across as a whinge bag. So hopefully it'll come across better if some of this stuff is explained where you can actually hear the context and you can actually see me as I'm trying to explain what's going on. So that's the idea for this blog. At the moment, as you might be able to see, I'm just sitting here in my home office, working in Lightroom. I've got a first few days of images that I shot over the last sort of 2 weeks or so down in the New Forest. So my current project is around deer, red deer and fallow deer. And so far I've spent 3 days, or well, I say 3 days, 3 sort of half days, 3 mornings on location down in the forest with early starts. And I've got some nice images. The rut isn't really up to speed yet, so these aren't full sort of battle sequences or deer sort of in the serious rut yet. This is just a lot of male sort of posturing, calling, but it's those sort of early part of the rut sort of images. And what I haven't had yet is I haven't had any mornings of really great light. So I had one day where it was supposed to be quite nice and in typical fashion decided to pour with rain. The other days have just been sort of cloudy and overcast light. So I haven't got any of those types of images that people often go for with sort of silhouettes against sort of golden dawns and things like that, which is fine. Often I don't really shoot a great many silhouette images. It's not really my style anyway. I quite like, I'm quite a documentary shooter and I tend to shoot detail of scenes. So you'll probably find me shooting things more like this one, for example, where if I'm not shooting a kind of portrait and actually focus on the animal itself, I'm putting them in the wider context of the environment that they're in. So hopefully in the next instalment I'll have a lot more kind of news on how the rut's going, how my photos of it are going. At the moment I'm not entirely satisfied with where I'm at. I've got some coverage. I've also been looking at some new locations because one of the challenges of working in the New Forest is that it is a huge area to cover, and there aren't that many deer. There are quite a lot of fallow deer. There aren't very many red deer. There's probably only a couple of hundred. That's less than there are in Richmond Park, and Richmond Park is about 1/10 of the size of the New Forest. So although I know the New Forest quite well, and I've spent the last couple of years working as much as I can just to improve my knowledge of it, it's still a challenge. There's still every day you get out there, you have, you could potentially be walking 5 or 10 miles to cover enough ground to actually track down where the big males are. They move around quite a lot, and obviously they're completely unrestricted in the forest. They're not hemmed in any way, so they can cover a big area, and they're not easy to see. A lot of the areas are not very open, so it's not easy to spot them from a distance away. You often have to rely on getting within earshot of them, hear them bellowing early in the morning, and then try and work it out from there as to exactly where they're going to be. So I'll persevere with that. Unfortunately, I've got a few other things getting in my way that mean I'm not going to be able to get back out there probably for another best part of a week, which is really annoying because we've had some quite nice light today. So I'm stuck in the home office doing other stuff, but when I get back out there, hopefully we'll have some new updates on that. Other than the deer project that I'm currently working on, the other thing I've got on my radar at the moment is at the beginning of November, I've got my last photo trip of this year, which is to the Gambia in West Africa, which is a place I've never visited before. I'm really excited about going there. I'm going to do another separate video post about preparing for trips and the kind of process that I go through, just to try and shed some light on that. So I'll talk more about the Gambia hopefully in the next edition of this. But yeah, hopefully more deer and more African adventures in the next instalment. So I'll see you then.